It is not an overstatement to say that the world is now starting to become one. Due to the advances of technology and network, the world has become more interconnected than in any point of human history. In all aspects, be it social, economic, cultural, or political, countries are involved in each other's businesses directly or indirectly. People can now have a glimpse of what it looks like to be at the other side of the world. Global trade gave us the opportunity to live the lives of different cultures. Social media gave us a chance to share the circumstances of every people. In a way, adaptation to globalization became the sole symbol of progress. Nonetheless, to a country with centuries worth of colonization and occupation, to a country with a culture that is still a work in progress, this culmination and notion of progress leaves a much deeper etching on our national identity. However, my point does not deny the benefits that we reap in globalization. In fact, knowledge is now much more democratic. As a student, I can access the discoveries of different brilliant scientists around the globe. A nation's discovery can aid in solving another nation's problem, just like what we have seen in the discovery of COVID vaccine. We can chat with people in tens of thousands of kilometers. We can communicate with our families, our friends, or even a stranger from the Arctic. In a much technical sense, humanity's life has been more manageable, easier, more viable than in any point of history. However, the cultural dichotomy that it creates for us are too crucial to ignore. My main point is that Filipinos are starting to forget their identity due to adaptation of others' culture. When you ask a Filipino the question, ano ang pagiging Filipino, most of the citizens won't be able to come up with a definite answer. Even the basic of our Philippine culture are starting to be forgotten. What's the proof and what's the example? Have you ever watched a street interview asking about the national hero or national symbol? People, especially the youth, are getting wrong on even the simplest questions about their identity or homeland. But if you ask them about a foreign singer or a foreign idol, surely they would know the answer immediately. Another case, toddlers are being taught to speak in English instead of local tongue or local languages like Cebuano, Filipino, and others. The people do not know the concept of national language and cannot differentiate which is which. The issue with forgetting is that it has severe repercussion to our heritage, to our Filipino heritage. According to Barron 2021, more than 50 minor languages of our country are expected to die in the next 20 years. Local industries are dying out in the face of Western and mass-produced competition. Indigenous knowledge and Philippine art form are driven into extinction, just like what we have seen in pagbabatok, folklore art, weaving, and others. Next, the globalized standard is becoming the sole baseline of success and development. By that mentality, we are constantly comparing ourselves to everything foreign and try to recreate it at the cost of our own culture. Youth are just following the trend of the Western. Values are being disregarded for the sake of copying and being part of this world. I will stand as a hypocrite if I say that I have never once compared our country to other, but having the awareness of the issue creates a major difference in response. The effect of following this trend is that progress has been reduced to purely economic terminology or definition without regard to the local notion of development and success. For one, ancestral homes of indigenous groups are being destroyed in order to modernize or being able to catch up to the international standard. Agriculture is discarded to shift into an industrial economy, even though it would benefit more people if we would focus our attention to the former. Neoliberal education is now the blueprint of the Philippine learning system. It has been regarded that taking a different path than the rest of the world is anti-development and that there is only a singular path to success. Well, as long as we Filipinos are still constantly following the footsteps of dominant countries, our culture will remain stagnant and will soon disappear. At the very least, we should know the distinction and boundary of what should be protected and what should be adapted. We will not break any law by deviating from the dominant singular culture of the world. In fact, Progress is not horizontal, never horizontal, but a vertical plane of imagination and authenticity. The Philippines can coexist with the world while not compromising the things that make them truly authentic and different. We should not wait for a point in time where we cannot return, where our core is entirely made of something borrowed. Do not let yourself be absorbed by the system, no matter how convincing it is. Take part in change and start patronizing our own. Learn from the nationalist approach of Jose Rizal. Patronize and promote our local brands and product, and participate in intellectualizing our language. Being different should never be shunned or be frowned upon. Instead, we should celebrate and advocate our difference with other countries. By doing this, majority, if not all, will be able to answer the gripping questions of our identity. We can indeed be proud of what and who we are. We can answer the question, sino ka? Sino ako? Sino tayo? Sino ang mga Filipino? If this happens, we can save our endangered culture and take a step forward in freeing ourselves from the machinations and illusions of the singularity of progress. That is all. Thank you. That is the cultural reverberation of globalization. Thank you for listening.